Good afternoon and welcome to today's podcast. It is Thursday, November 29th, 2012. This is podcast number 79 and you, yes you are watching What's Up Canada. Today we are going to talk about a very serious topic that took place on June 6, 1944. Yep, you guessed it. We are going to be talking about D-Day, or by its codename Operation Overlord, that took place on Juno Beach during the Second World War. D-Day was an invasion of Northwest Europe between Allied troops and German troops. The reason for this invasion was because Nazis were taking over most of Europe, and to stop the Nazis from further expanding into Europe, the Allies needed to get just one foothold into one of these areas that were highly concentrated with Nazi troops, so that the Nazis would freak out and retreat or surrender. By doing this, the Allies could return the land back to their rightful owners, or at least try to. To prepare for this invasion, many Canadian soldiers went through months and months of intense training. But finally, on June 6, 1944, they got to shine. Allied troops landed on the coast of Normandy. They arrived by planes or by parachutes, boats, and tanks that could sail on water, but could also function on land as well. These tanks were called funnies. On this day, 80 divisions were called up to the front line. The Canadians were called to line up on the east side of Juno Beach that was protected by the Royal Air Force bombers, which is essentially Britain's Air Force. The whole purpose of this invasion was the element of surprise. When the first attack on D-Day happened, all the Germans were really surprised. By the time the Canadians got to the shore of Juno Beach, the Germans guarding the east side of Juno Beach were expecting an invasion already. As a result, there were many casualties. When Canadian troops got off their boats near the coastline of Juno Beach, there was only enough room for everyone to get off single file and one by one. So as you can imagine, it was very easy for the Germans guarding the beach to take out all the troops very quickly. Now going back to the funnies, the tanks that could sail on water, they were not very successful during this battle. Some of them sank before they even got onto Juno Beach due to the harsh waves that were caused by the bombing going on everywhere. But for the ones that did make it to shore, most of them got wiped out very quickly, and it was not very successful. For the soldiers that landed in Europe by parachute, they had an extremely hard time. All the troops had one meeting place that they had to get to in a certain amount of time before the British would start bombing. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong. It was extremely difficult for the Canadian troops to find this meeting place. There was a lot of confusion, and most of them were just not ready. Therefore, many of them did not find the place on time and found themselves in the way of Britain's bombs. Now, for all the troops that were still alive, they were each assigned a task beforehand that they needed to get done no matter what. There was no time to help the wounded, and there was definitely no turning back from this point. Thankfully, somehow these brave and noble Canadian soldiers pulled it off and defeated the Nazis. But more importantly, helped pull in the very first Allied victory. Also, the strong Canadians traveled inland far more than any of the other Allied nations during this invasion. On June 6, 1944, 14,000 Canadians landed in Normandy. There were 1,074 casualties, but in the end, even though it didn't seem like it in the beginning, it was a huge victory for the Allies. And I'm sure everyone appreciates the sacrifices that were made for our freedom. Now, this was not the end of the line for the Canadian soldiers. They still had a huge part to play in the end of the war that was still 11 months away. If you would like to pay your respects to the soldiers that lost their lives fighting for our freedom, there is a memorial at Utah Beach in memory of Juno Beach. Or you can visit www.acc.gc.ca for more information. And don't forget to visit our website for a summary of this podcast and many more. Well, that's it for today. We'll be back next week where we'll be talking about the Jewish people during World War II. Well, this is What's Up Canada signing off for today, and have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you for watching.